Alright, this is a test video. Mic check. 1, 2. Say something, KP.
Hey.
Okay.
At the end of the day, I know who I am. Welcome.
You are listening to
Rainbow Table.
All right. Here we go.
What's up, y'all? I am Dutchess,
Kalyela J.
and this is the first episode of the Rainbow Table Talk.
Yes. Welcome, viewers. Rainbow Table Talk. We got some good conversations. So, as you all will know, and we're going to have some great content to provide you. This is a platform, a community for the LGBTQ plus community, where we're going to talk about spirituality, sexuality, just all of our own experiences to help you along your journey. So we look forward to many more opportunities like
Right,
this.
so today we're talking about our coming out stories.
Ooh, coming out. I got 2 of them.
You got two?
Two?
Okay,
I got two.
Like
I got
one and a
two
half.
of them.
One and a half. So coming out story. So as you guys know, the process of being queer, however you LGBTQ, however you want to frame it.
I like to call us the alphabet people.
I know.
We add a new letter every other week.
Yeah, we're gonna have a video about that,
the
right?
alphabet.
Especially about that. But I'll shorten it up. I like queer a little bit. It's just quick, right? So with the queer community, a part of the, I guess, like the first process or the ongoing process is about coming out, right? So like, how do you, come to know yourself as a part of, lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, whatever that is for you? How do you come to the knowing of that? And then not only the knowing of that for yourself, but then how do you immerse like your family,
be comfortable enough
friends,
to
and
come out to those
religion
people.
and church and all these different aspects.
And
How do you bridge it?
the rough thing about it is, unless you decide to like just go on Facebook and be like, look, y'all, I like girls, then you kind of end up having to come out over and over and over again. It's like, I can come out on my... Straight folks don't have to come out.
No.
It's just assumed
Yeah.
you're straight.
They
So
easy.
it's like you get to work and somebody's like, oh, you got a husband? You married? I have a partner.
Right.
I have a partner. And so it's this whole thing where you have to continually come out and come out and come out. So we went to a Christian school and basically had to keep ourselves in hiding the entire time we were there, for fear of getting expelled. Like, how many times did we get called in the office?
Girl, I'm just mad that I'm just happy that I made it.
Yeah.
I got the high school diploma
Yeah.
downstairs. I was about this deep,
Listen.
not getting out.
Because you really can't come home and be like, we got expelled because we was writing girls' love letters. When you're in a space where you love God, like, we love God. We love that aspect of our spirituality. So in the coming out of it, it's well, the question for me always was, do I make myself happy or do I make God happy?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until recently, I think, in my, like, when I first hit 30, where I was just like, God wants me to be happy in who he has made me to be, who I am. And so when I learned to disconnect from the thoughts process of his people, because a lot of times his, like I say, his people was the same people who were like, put him on the cross. So I always have to disconnect from their mindset and just be like, I am happy and secure and whole in who I am and who I am in him.
Yeah. But where I have really, for me, the evolution was around 28. And it's especially something happens, especially around when you're 20. It's called your Saturn return. We won't get into that, but Google it, Saturn return. And what happens at Saturn return is that every 7 years you take on a new identity. So you're basically, your soul comes in and kind of says, okay, this shit ain't working for us. We need to evolve to the next space, right? So for me, at that point, I was really like delving deep and saying, God, what is my calling? What is my purpose? What am I here to do? And what I got from that is that you need to coach people where you had where you've had healing at. So for me at that point, I had a physical transformation, and I wanted to help other people understand what their purpose is. I wanted to help other people understand, find and fulfill God's purpose for their life. then that's when the ego, the barrier came from me, and it would say, "You're gay. You can't.
You can't.
You can't. You're gay. You can't talk to people. You can't talk about God and being gay at the same time. Those two conversations doesn't work." So I had to come out to God. So I was like, "God, I'm gay. I think you know that I'm gay. And this is who I am. And take it or leave it." Because at that point I was frustrated. I was mad at God. Like from what the God that I knew, I was pissed off. Like, this is who I am. You're giving me this calling, but I can't change my my affinity, how I feel, or anything like that. So I was like, you got to help me out here. And this is the power of God. In a small still voice, I heard, "Tell your dad." I said, "What the hell?" Tell your dad. So I called. I was like, "Tell my dad." I called my brother and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna tell Daddy that I'm gay." He said, "Why you want to do that?" I said, "Something just in me. I just want to tell him." And I said, "I cannot let my dad leave this earth not knowing who I am. I want to build a relationship with him." So my brother kind of prepped him, like, Kali got something. They call me Kali, but she got to tell you something. So then I talked to my dad and I said, "Yeah, Dad, I don't like men. I'm gay." And he says, "Okay, baby." He says, "Have a peace of mind. Have a peace of heart. Have a peace of mind. Have a peace of heart."
And I feel so healthy and I feel so healed right now. And so coming to this place in my life where I'm willing to own, I love God. I'm unashamed about my love for God. I want to share that with other people. No, I'm not perfect. I'm not without fault, but I can take his word and share his love with other people, because there are some people within our community and outside of our community who absolutely need his love. And I think above all else, whatever your beliefs are, whether you believe we are wrong or believe we are not, what you cannot deny is that God above all else has commanded us to love one another. Yes. And so if I share nothing else with you, love one another. It is important for us to start the year off really focusing on what we can do to help ourselves in the LGBT community with our mental health.
Right. That's awesome. I strongly agree with that. Whatever your spiritual practices are, if you have them, whatever higher power you believe in, that's an important connection, but it definitely does tie in with mental health. It all aligns. So you got to be whole and healthy. We want to be whole and healthy. And it's a journey. So yeah, definitely starting the year off right. Better late than never.
Trying to get right, because I'm tired of these girls calling me crazy in relationships, and then I just
that's interesting. I got my pen down. Interesting, girls.
You got your notebook? You got your notebook?
I'm ready. Like, girls calling you crazy. Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay. So here's the question breaker for the evening.
Okay.
When y'all start writing stuff down on your pad, okay, is it like, do you just be like, daddy issues, or like, so
I'm gonna be in here for 10 months,
right? This is gonna be a good check. No. I like to encourage my clients, say, hey, live your truth, but understand that not everyone's going to accept your truth. But if you continue to stuff and stack and hide who you are, you're causing harm to yourself. Because at the end of the day, you take you with you. So regardless of, yes, respect your parents, right? Yes, respect,
that's how I like to take me with me.
Yeah, you just kind of just scrounged up the scale a little bit, right?
Every now and then I gotta jack myself up.
Just bring yourself. Come on now. Come on.
Let's go. I think a lot of times it is a lot of church hurt. It is some church hurt that I've seen, and looking at bringing them back in that connection with God. So sometimes it means, hey, maybe you don't go to church right now, but are you connecting with God or a higher power in a spiritual space? Do you have that connection? Is it there, like that alignment? Because you have that alignment, kind of talked about earlier, that spiritual connection, whatever you adhere to, that can be important for your growth. And some people don't believe, and that's on them. But for me, in the space that I'm in, I am a strong believer in whatever your higher space or whatever your higher belief is, having that connection, knowing that you are loved, you are valued. I think at the end of it, that's what we all, majority of us, desire. I can't say all, but majority does desire to have that connection, that space of feeling heard and valued.
Preacher Alexa, let's throw the napkin.
Let's throw the offering plate around. My Cash App is.
How you doing?
Hey.
What it is? What's up?
My birthday just passed. I seen it said live 9/17.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And then we'll go with flow. But the more of anything is for other people. Like, why should other people come out?
Just pay attention.
You should come out because I'm looking for a wife.
You should come out.
And I'm not dealing with you not out.
Life after coming out. So how have we changed since coming out? So in your life, KJ, how do you think that you've changed since you came out?
I'm the realist now, though. I think like after coming out, because you go through that space where you just like you're trying on clothes. Because I actually put up a picture. Check out our picture. We had a little, little tight little clothes on.
Yeah, you guys see the picture that you put up,
right?
Post it. I'm gonna post it.
It's like putting on clothes, right? You put on something, you're like, this don't quite fit. But then when you put on that shirt, that shirt that like, ooh, I look good in that shirt, or the pair of shoes that you feel good in. That's what life after coming out feels like. Man, this feels right. This feels like my authentic side.
Hold on, KJ. Side table. We gonna get back to that. But in that picture, you have on a Louis Vuitton belt. You borrowed that belt from me. Where's my belt? I ain't seen that belt since we went out that night.
You really gonna do this in front of all these people?
I'm just saying. You have
I was 16. I don't know. So I just got comfortable being who I was in the workplace. I think that was a big catalyst for me because I started to own my voice and started to get more opportunities in my job.
I think it would have to do basically with your level of confidence. If you're uncomfortable with how you're dressing, if you're uncomfortable with how you feel, it talks about like we make the clothes, but if you are comfortable in what you're wearing, like if you put on something, you'd be like, hey, I look good. Like that exudes and that just seeps into everything else that you're doing. So it only makes sense that, man, I wasn't even getting a job in these skirts, but now I'm over here in these bow ties, and now I'm like, hey.
I love you so much that I lose myself in you, or I love you enough to let you go.
So I love you enough to lose myself in you, or I love you enough to let you go. So
that was deep.
Is lust a first-hand emotion? Because is that...
Ooh.
If love is a second-hand emotion. If love is after, are you willing, if somebody is not loving you in your love language, how do you talk to them about it?
Wow. And I'm actually learning to do this like in my 30s. Like sometimes we could just run relationships like we've been running relationships like we 16 or 20, 20 something years old. So like the way you just kind of sit down and talk, hey, can I talk to you about something? And I think is just saying, hey, in order for us to have a loving relationship, right? The goal is to have a loving relationship and to communicate. So if you set the precedent, that's what the goal is. And saying, this is, I would love for us, how do we get there? What is your love language? How can I better communicate with you? How can I better build a sense of intimacy with you? And this is how I can, communicate. This is how I interpret love, right? When you're able to get to that space, then you got some communication. And I think also too, we learn our love language sometimes from seeing our own parents, and we carry that into our own relationships. So whatever we see in our, parents or, whatever that look like for you in your household, we try to mimic that in relationships. So I think that's another part of a conversation is understanding someone's, background or how do they receive love from their parents or people in their household. So you have a better understanding, right? Because sometimes, like a person you could be, they may want words of affirmation because they've never been told that they're beautiful. and they might need that. And that love
So
language
we're
may change.
desperately
So.
seeking it. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. If you could emulate yourself after, or somebody like a woman that gives you hope, a woman that makes you want to strive to be better, do better, or just a woman that like you see and you be like, dang, she doing her thing. I want to do that too.
Ooh, as soon as you said that, what came up for me was Lena Waithe. I think she changed the game. She changed the game, and I think, like I feel like she changed the game, especially for like studs or masculine center women, like that the possibility, from what was it, Masters of the show that she had, Masters of None, and just the platform of bringing masculine women into like center stage of like acting. So I think and she just goes against the grain and just kind of does her flow and shows up as herself. I really dig that. So I really I love her.
If you are in a relationship that is fruitful, having the right partner, will light something up under you. Because having a partner that stresses you and is a distraction from your goals. Now, I'm not even saying like you have to have a partner that's pushing you, but having somebody who is a distraction from your goals is hard. And so getting with the right person who doesn't hinder, but aids, like, hey, I see you, I see what you're doing, do what you got to do, and
you better preach. You better preach, Deacon Dutchess. I think there was a point in time, like maybe in my 20s, like I really just didn't feel like stud, like classification especially in the Black community. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm a stud because tomboy, this is the route that we're going. But I don't know if I have like the prime examples of seeing that. Like what I saw as a stud, I felt like that wasn't me. Like that path, that wasn't my, it was just like, that's too hard for me. And then a lot of women that I would date, I mean, we'll probably get into this earlier, but like, oh, you a soft stud. You're not really a stud. You soft. So I was just like, after some time, like maybe, like I said, mid-20s, I was just kind of like, I don't think I fit into the stud community.
What's the hard stud? They don't put lotion on their feet.
Like you working in construction.
And like you wear what, like flannel shirts, or like what's the uniform for that? Yeah, they're not necessarily gender roles; they're just roles.
Yeah, and I was going to lead into my next question. Like, did you have, like, in any, like, your relationships, do you have to kind of set that expectation? Do you have to say, hey, this is how I show up? Do you feel like you have to kind of set the precedent before going into a relationship?
I don't think so. I think if you find the person who's for you, then it naturally kind of, you naturally kind of assimilate into where you are. Like, if you don't like doing dishes and I like doing dishes, I'm gonna do dishes. I don't like folding clothes. Can you fold clothes? Like, this is not, we don't have necessarily a role in this, but we're just figuring, where we are and where we fit. It's like in life, you find your purpose. On your job, you're going to find your purpose. You're going to when you go into your job, there might be 18 different positions, but everybody has a different role that they play. And so when it comes to your home life is also a job. And so everybody comes into the role that they play.
I like you mentioned that, because like I noticed for myself, I feel like it's progressively changing now. When I was younger, that was kind of challenging. Like a lot of women that I would want to talk to, or that would say, hey, I find you attractive, but I want you to fit in this mold. I want you to be the hardcore stud, AG, I want you to be like X, Y, and Z. And versus like now, like when I meet women, it's kind of, okay, how do you want to, how do you show up? How you've been flowing? I'm going to be cool with that. And to me, that was a deterrence, like, cause it made me feel like, like, accept me as I am. I don't feel like I have to be a certain thing.
I feel like that is an age thing. Because I know as younger, having all my friends, when we were like 17, 18, they all wanted a thug. They wanted a bad boy. They wanted, they wanted somebody who was hard. So I think that even in the lesbian community, there's that I want an AG, an aggressive stud. I want a hardcore, because it's the same as I want a thug. I want somebody who's hard, because when we're younger, we see the bad boy as something that is enticing, or we see the bad girl as something that is enticing. But once we start getting older and more secure in who we are, we might start saying,
I want somebody with a job, not out here slanging.
Exactly.
With
Like I want somebody
real car,
okay with
real
that.
house.
like you know, what's it say? What biblically? What does it say? When I became a man, I put away childish things. So when I became an adult, I put away those childish notions that I want somebody. Like life becomes more than just about how I perceive you. It comes into a position where you're like, I need somebody who's going to take care of a home. I need somebody who's going to support me. I need somebody who's going to do these things. So I feel like once we get older, especially older in the queer community, then it's very much so I can be who I want to be. Like there's no set rules to this. Studs can date studs. Femmes can date femmes. There's some femmes who don't date studs. They're like, I don't want. From my experience, my small experience on Plenty of Fish. There are the women who are like, if you a stud, don't be messaging me. I ain't trying to talk to you.
And I'm like, shawty, come on.
Femmes only. And then there's the ones who are like, femmes, I don't want no lipstick.
You ain't gotta be that aggressive with it. Okay, we get the picture. And it took me some time, because I can remember when I was in when I first started college, I had 2 teammates that were studs. And it was like, that was weird at that time. It was weird, like to see 2 studs being together. And it was kind of like, I think sometimes, definitely in the queer community, sometimes we could come up with our own damn rules and say, okay, this is the role that you should take. This is the role you should take. And it was kind of weird at the time, like, oh, I don't think stud's supposed to be with a stud, you know, like, because you're thinking like, no, you're only supposed to be with a feminine woman.
Exactly.
But to see how they interact, it was kind of like, okay, they were 2 women. And that was like, now it's becoming more prevalent. Now you see where a lot of masculine women are, you know, saying, hey, I want to date another masculine woman, or I want to date a man. You see some, you know, masculine women like, okay, I'm bisexual, or, you know, I'm open to all parts of the spectrum. So it looks like it's growing, that people are becoming more okay with themselves.
Of being yourself. I saw an ad. I wasn't on Grindr. I saw an ad.
You was on Grindr now?
Why would I be on Grindr? I saw an ad on Facebook.
When someone get all aggressive like that, when someone get all,
you see how hard producer was talking to me? Like I was just on Grindr. Like it was an ad, and it was these 2 like old boy had goals and tattoos, and his dude had goals and tattoos, and they was super hard, like, what's up, bro? What's up? There was no feminine energy amongst them, and they were just kissing and loving on each other and hugging. And I was like, and I just watched it, and I think I was smiling the whole time, because I was just like, they are what the world needs to see.
Yes.
Because we're not used to seeing it. And so none of this will become normal until we make it normal, until we're okay with being seen. And super excited today.
Yes. Stoked.
We have Aaron and Kamala Williams with us today. And listen, so this couple, I love them because I've only met them on Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're the kind of couple that when you see them on Facebook, you be like, I want a relationship so we could like double date and hang out. Like they cool.
Yeah. You can go find somebody.
Like, I need to find somebody so I can hang out and be on the type of time that they on, because they got their stuff together. So I am excited about bringing them on and sharing their journey with you and with us, and learning and talking and all that good stuff. So
yes, excited.
Without further ado, we want to present to you Aaron and Kamala Williams.
Good evening.
If I had some maracas, it would be going there.
We should have had some of that jazzy opening music y'all had.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
just hit the ground running. So we dated for a year. I have a rule, and I'm sure she'll share that, that before anyone gets married, they should go through 4 seasons. So I personally will not officiate any weddings of anyone that has not been together or dated for at least a year. She was probably ready on day one. Okay, she's like, give me a ring.
Somebody please put that in the chat. Put that in the chat. 4 seasons, not the hotel. 4 seasons. Okay.
Not the hotel 4 seasons, but 4 seasons. I just think you need that opportunity. Just like seasons change, we change. And so, and I'm not saying, I want to make sure I'm very clear that I'm not saying that someone can't meet at first sight, get married 3 months later, and last a lifetime. But in my opinion, especially if you don't live together, right? So if you're not shacking up before you get married, there are a lot of things that come into play when you join 2 lives as one. Mm-hmm. Finances, if you have children, we don't, but if you have children, and just living with someone, especially if you've lived alone or you've lived in a roommate situation, like stuff changes. Yeah. I still can't get over her leaving her shoes in the middle of the floor and me tripping on them. Like that's still a thing. And so, for some people, it could be a thing that could separate them. And so there's just a lot of learning of each other that you have to do. So
Kamala, can you talk a little bit? How was that journey for you?
So this is, I like to call Aaron 2.0, or actually Aaron 3.0.
Big Aaron 3.0.
Big Aaron 3.0. Big Aaron is 3.0 because this isn't his first transition in our marriage. So when I met Aaron was close to 300 pounds. So his first transition was bariatric surgery. So he went from, and I'm attracted to plus size. So he went from plus size to a little slimmer. And I was afraid that he was going to get too small. And I was just terrified about the bariatric surgery. But for health reasons, he needed it. And so that version of Aaron, there was the original version I met 1.0 on Easter, and then there was 2.0, that's bariatric surgery, and then 3.0 is Big Aaron. So this is the third version of my spouse since we've been married in 7 years. I've had 3 different spouses in one. So almost like the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So
the Trinity going on over there.
This is the third version of him.
You want some variety.
So
gotta keep it fresh.
Listen, he gives keeping it fresh a whole new definition. A whole new definition. So I by the time that he began to transition, first of all, I asked on several occasions in the beginning, was he considering, or had he ever considered? Because I was not reaping any of the benefits of being in a lesbian relationship. Mm-hmm. So I knew that there was something different, and that this was deeper. And so I asked, and originally his response was, I'm all right with the way that I am. And I'm like, okay, so I was already, especially by, me being bisexual, and us never operating as a typical people. We would go out with other people, other lesbian couples, and they tell us that we mimicked a cis straight couple. Mm-hmm. Our roles, relationship, and the way that we conducted ourselves in our relationships, a relationship was just like that of a cis straight couple. So the bariatric surgery was more of a transition for me. Than the transition. Yes. Okay. Because nothing really changed about him per se, but his outer appearance. He's still an asshole when he want to be. Mm-hmm. He's bossy. He's a Taurus, so he's still bossy. He's controlling in a great way, but he is controlling.
So producer is a Taurus, and my son is a Taurus. So I feel your pain. Okay,
keep me in your prayers.
Oh, producer back here talking about pain. What pain? I'm just
listen. I often tell people, when you see me with something that I have, it's because I've earned it. Please don't be jealous. Please don't be hating. Please, when you see me with whatever it is you see me with, trust me, I have earned it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a good one. So with that in your journey, so because I know that I've talked to lesbians who have been like, I know I dated a girl, I'm in it for a girl. So Aaron, you really found the right one.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. So it's interesting because a lot of times when trans guys are in relationships, and then it doesn't work out, because most don't, because if she were a true lesbian, she shouldn't really be attracted to me. Now, I know some people are going to say, but love is love, and it is. But if I am a woman and I identify as a lesbian, which means I'm attracted to a woman, it would offend me if you were still attracted to me. I'll be honest with you. And I try to tell trans guys, like, you should be honored that she's not attracted to you anymore, because you are a man, and that means that she sees you in the full form of a man. Everything about you changes if you transition medically. So your body odor, your even some of the things that I do now, probably more so than an example is I drink. I probably drink more and try different types. So bourbon and whiskey. As a lesbian, I didn't drink that. Like, give me a fruity drink and I'm good to go. So your taste buds, everything about you changes and transitions. And so I definitely hit the jackpot when I married her. And I think that God foreknew, because he knows me, right? He knows me inside. So it definitely worked in my favor. And I it's unfortunate that it doesn't work in all of my trans brothers' favor, but for me, it did. God definitely blessed me. Read about it. I believe that I was born to transition. I believe that I had to live as a woman for 42 years in order to be able to tell you that men are treated differently. Men certainly have male privilege when it comes to the workplace, corporate America. Like, it's real. I think that it's a challenge being a Black man versus when I was a Black lesbian. White women didn't lock their doors, even as butch as I was, when I was at the stoplight getting ready to cross the street, versus now they do. So I wouldn't be able to talk about that had I not been born a female. So the transition starts with counseling. First, you have to go to a counselor before you can even get to testosterone. Testosterone affects people in different ways. Interesting enough, testosterone mellowed me out. My coworkers noticed it first. They was like, because I was an aggressive butch. Okay, because people didn't even really see me. They used the she pronouns, but that was really it. I told people at work I was transitioning. They basically said, okay, they saw me as a.
We've been knew that.
Yeah. I've always presented as male. So you start with counseling. I started with counseling. The first day I went to counseling, my counselor said, if it were not for the standards, I would give you the letter for testosterone now. Like, she had no doubt. I was very sure. I mean, it took me 43 years. Let's say I knew at 20. So it took me 23 years to get the courage. When I went, I knew what I wanted to do. But I went through therapy, and then I began testosterone. And I haven't had any issues with testosterone other than some acne that you see on my face. But T has done me well. And unlike some trans people, I never forget my shot. I take my shot every week. So that's one thing of, when you're trans. Every week you take a shot, or every other week, depends on some guys, I guess, once they go so long, they can even do it once a month. But the testosterone is what helps my voice. It's what helps the facial hair that I have now. It helps the shape of my face. It'll help my Adam's apple come in. It helps the shape of my body. Weight starts to move to your gut, from your hips and your thighs, and your butt. And it definitely helps your sexual drive. It's like a teenage boy that's 13. That's what this 43-year-old man is like. So there are a lot of changes, and emotionally there are changes as well. And everyone experiences them differently. For me, they have been positive. I have had a very healthy and good transition, as well as surgery has went well for me. So I haven't had any issues with my transition, and I've been blessed.
So you said that it mellows you out more, because I know
it mellowed me out.
I've heard that for some people that it can cause more aggression. So what you're saying is, when you trip over that shoe in the middle of the living room,
I'm like, here it is.
You chilled out.
First, before, I'll be like, man, how many times I told you about this damn shoe in the middle? Like, that was me before. Now I just pick the shoe up and move it. Like,
the whole theme on itself. Asking for your keys back if the situation doesn't work.
I'm gonna ask for my keys back and then change the locks.
Ooh, you real true.
You can make a minute key at Walmart.
Oh yeah, that is true.
I come home, you sitting on my couch looking at me, looking at us, looking at we. I ain't got time for it.
Yeah. I think that's the hardest part. Like when you do the whole U-Haul experience, and like what you're saying is like sometimes people could get caught up into the whole false reality. You now live together, the situation ain't working out, and now you got to say, okay, hey, this ain't working out. You're gonna have to give my key. And I had a situation where it was like that whole move out process. Like, okay, time to go. Yeah. Why
they drag that bad boy out?
Like, why? Don't drag it out. Come on.
And that's why I'm not gonna move in with nobody, because you ain't gonna sit there and be watching me get my stuff. Because I be petty too. I'm gonna be slow as hell. I'm talking about like, hey, I got to come back on. Nah, you know what? I wouldn't even be that way, because once the end for me, it end for me.
Yeah, that's it.
You'll just be like, damn, did she really even? I did. I'm done. Bye. Like, I'll be over there to get my stuff.
Yeah, like
when I come over to get my stuff, you better know I'm gonna look good, smell good, and feel good.
What? Bought you a whole new outfit. You don't even look like you're moving. You don't even look like you're moving clothes.
Like why would you come in that button down to move clothes? Because I can.
At the end of the day, I know who I am.
Welcome. You are listening to Rainbow.